Alright, ladies and gentlemen, be very welcome to my vanilla Minecraft Player Detector / Player Sensor, whatever you want to call it, tutorial contraption video. Now, before we get started, I want to say that this is certainly not my invention. I didn't invent this. I have seen it, I can't remember where, but I know that I've seen it before. However, upon searching the tube, I didn't really find any good tutorials or explanation as to why and how these things work. Which made me realize that you as a Minecraft expert may have a use for one of these, but you don't know that they exist. And so I wanted to contribute to that, and hopefully you find this video useful and can implement this in your own survival world. Now, of course, if you do find it useful or if you just love the video, make sure to hit the like button down below. That really helps me out. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe as well. That way you will see me implement this in my Let's Play world, survival Let's Play world. We do daily Minecraft videos on the channel, so join the club already. Anyway, a player detector or a player sensor is basically a contraption that will output a redstone signal whenever we are within the vicinity or within the area of the player detector. Now, the red wool here represents the vicinity of this player detector, and the snow golem that you can see over there is the very center of the player detector. In fact, he is the player detector, pretty much. So let's step inside, and eventually, but pretty soon, we should see the redstone lamp turn on, telling us that, yep, we've detected a player in this area. There we go. Boom. Now, it varies from everything from a half a second to up to, I think the maximum amount of time it took for me when I counted was 7 seconds. So bear that in mind. It can react a little bit slow. Now, you need to be in survival mode as well. If you build this in creative to try it out and you're flying around in creative, this won't work as consistently. So make sure that you're in survival mode. Let's talk a little bit about what makes this machine tick. So, basically, what we're doing is that we're utilizing Minecraft mobs AI. The way Minecraft mobs work is that whenever a player is within 32 blocks of their radius, they will start moving around. They will start to investigate the area. They will start to pathfind. And we're basically making use of that. And then we have a little bit of a contraption here to make sure that we have an output of that snow golem's action. So basically, I get within 32 blocks, the snow golem will start pathfinding, and he will hit the pressure plate right here, which will power this repeater, which in turn powers the piston that pushes him right back into his cage. So he's stuck there forever, poor guy. It also powers this dropper right here that has some items in it. Now that dropper, once powered, will shoot one of these snowballs over to this dropper. Okay, so basically what I have here is a dropper sitting like that, this one, and then another dropper sitting like that, this one. So basically they are facing each other. If I put an item in here just to demonstrate and power that, it's going to shoot the redstone dust from there into there, and then if I power this one, it's going to do the opposite, so shoot it back here. Okay? Now, the reason we do that is because the mob doesn't constantly move around. As you can see, he's kind of chilling from time to time, but I think I calculated that every 16th second he will make a move. And whenever he does, just like that, he will be powering this and we'll have a signal here. So we need the droppers in order to make sure that those 16 seconds can pass without us losing our redstone signal, basically. So what we do is take the second dropper, which we shoot items into. We utilize the comparator function that checks if there's an item in it, and we have a repeater to output a signal into this block. Now currently in this specific setup, this iron block is actually our output, so anything I connect to this is of course powered. So as you can see, the redstone lamp is on as long as we're within this area. So that's basically the player detector. Now, you're going to need a few more things in order for this to work. One of the components that you need is this hopper timer. Basically what this does is that it sends items back and forth between these two hoppers because they're facing each other. So items in here will go into this hopper and vice versa. On top of that, we are locking one of the hoppers at all times, which means that the items will travel from only one hopper, and then once it's empty, it will go from the other hopper. So that's basically a timer, and what this gives us the possibility to do, and let me just show you how this looks from above so that you can replicate it. This gives us the possibility to grab a redstone signal every 12th item, which is what I have it configured at. We'll speak about the timings and that in a little bit. So every 12th item that is passed within these hoppers, which I think replicates like 6 seconds or 5 seconds, we'll get a redstone signal on this line, and that will power this block, which powers this dropper. And again, back to the dropper mechanism, this shoots the items back into this dropper and basically resets the timer. Okay? As long as, so that's basically the hopper, the hopper clock. Now, as long as there are items left into this dropper, we still have our redstone signal here, which is powering our indicator. That is also connected up to an inverted line over here, which basically is off as long as the player is within the area. Now this line simply locks this hopper clock. So for example, if I would power this line, this hopper clock would just stop. So that by doing that, we basically make sure that we don't have a running clock at all times, which would be freaking annoying, and specifically for servers, it wouldn't be very appreciated. Cool. So let's talk a little bit about why I have certain amount of items and all the timings and all that. I mentioned earlier that the snow golem walks around every about 16 seconds, or that's his maximum cap. And we need to make sure that we constantly keep this on. So at the moment he's not walking around, but we still need to have this on. And that is basically the second component of this. That's what this all is doing. And I calculated that having 5 items in total in the 2 droppers, so basically 5 items in this dropper, which will shoot 1 item every time the snow golem moves, in combination with having 12 items in the item hoppers, is probably the best way of having a steady signal when you're within range. And just to explain a little bit more, if you want to change this, because you may have a little bit of server lag or something like that, the items that are in the droppers will control the length of the player detector, and the items that are in the hoppers over here will control the sensitivity. Okay, so the less items you have in here and the more items you have in here, the more sensitive the sensor will be. Now, as I said, I found it that 12 items in here and 5 items in here keeps the signal on at all times, and it's sensitive enough. So if I would walk away in survival mode, we would see it turn off pretty quickly. So that's pretty much your player detector right there. I hope that all that made sense. I'm very keen on trying to explain why things work whenever I do tutorials. And basically, that's it. Quick note to wrap this up. This also works in all different angles. So this is 32 blocks away on that red, but it's also 32 blocks away up here. So when I'm standing here, if I go into survival mode, the snow golem is simply just chilling and hanging out. He won't pathfind. But if I go down here, he will start pathfinding and the player detector will turn on. Boom. So pretty cool indeed. Anyway, I hope that you found this video useful, and again, if you did, make sure to hit the like button. I'll just hover down so that you get a full picture of how it looks. Take a screenshot or just pause the video if you want to replicate this. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope that it was helpful, and I see you next time.